Okay, let's dig into this. When you think about strategic genius, sometimes the biggest move isn't the one everyone expects, right? We often focus on land battles, forts on hills, but this deep dive, looking at the sources you shared, it really highlights something else for Shivaji Maharaj, building power at sea. That was kind of revolutionary for the time.
It really was. And what stands out is the foresight. We're talking about a period where, most Indian powers were focused inwards on land. But Shivaji, he grasped the importance of the coast. There's that quote mentioned in the material, something like, water is as important as land.
Yeah, one who controls the seas, controls the trade and security. That quote really sets the stage, doesn't it?
It perfectly captures his thinking. And it wasn't just a theoretical idea.
Right. The sources make it pretty clear why he poured resources into the Samudri Sena, his navy. It wasn't a side project. First off, protecting the Konkan coast, that long western stretch, it was vulnerable.
Hugely vulnerable. Piracy, raids. It was constant, so defense was paramount. And then there's trade. Those sea routes along the Arabian Sea, absolute lifelines for the Maratha economy. They needed defending.
Definitely. And it wasn't just about pirates. It was about the established foreign powers already there.
Exactly. You had the Portuguese, the cities of Janjira, who were, well, formidable adversaries at sea, and the British East India Company starting to flex its muscles.
So the Navy was also about challenging them, pushing back.
Precisely. Contesting their control, stopping their free run of the coast, and, importantly, giving Shivaji the ability to launch his own attacks from the sea.
Yeah.
It shifted the dynamic.
Okay, so it's defense, it's trade protection, and it's projecting power against rivals. That makes sense. So how did he actually do it? Building a navy from, well, almost scratch?
That's the fascinating part, detail in the sources. He set up shipyards, proper shipbuilding centers, places like Kharwa, Kalyan, Bhiwandi, Malvan.
So they weren't just buying ships, they were building their own fleet.
Building and adapting. The materials mentioned different types of vessels. You had the Gallivats, fast, shallow draft, good for attacking quickly.
Like coastal raiders?
Sort of, yeah.
Yeah.
And then the larger Gurabs, more like proper warships, better armed. And PALs, slower, mainly for transport, carrying troops or supplies. A mixed fleet for different jobs.
And a fleet needs bases, strong points.
Absolutely critical.
Yeah.
The sources point to key sea forts. Sindhudurg is maybe the most famous, built right on an island. Tough to spot, strategically brilliant.
Right. The material notes how it almost blends into the sea, and Vijaydurg.
Another major one. Huge walls, a protected harbor. Essential. Plus others like Jaigad, Kharwa. These weren't just forts, they were naval hubs.
And you need people to run it all. Leaders.
Hill commanders, yeah. The research names admirals like Darya Sarang, Mai Nayak Bandari, Daulat Khan, and later figures like Tukoji and Gray became prominent. These were the guys translating the vision into reality, fighting tough battles.
So this whole effort, the ships, the forts, the people, what were the results? What advantages did it actually deliver?
Well, coastal security definitely improved, like we said.
Yeah.
Less vulnerability for the coastal population and trade, and that directly helped the economy. Safer seas meant more reliable trade, more revenue.
Okay, economic and security benefits. What about militarily?
It gave the Marathas a whole new angle of attack. Surprise raids on enemy ports, disrupting their shipping. It really challenged those foreign powers. The Portuguese, Siddis, British, they couldn't just dominate the coastline unchallenged anymore. Shivaji's navy was a serious obstacle to their ambitions.
So when you look at the big picture, the sources seem pretty consistent.
Yeah, they credit Shivaji as essentially the first Indian ruler to strategically build a navy as a core part of his state's power. Not just a few ships for raiding, but a planned state-backed force. That's why he's often called the father of the Indian Navy. It's about that strategic vision, the forts, the fleet. It fundamentally altered the coastal power balance.
Right. So wrapping this up, this deep dive, based on the info you provided, it really underscores that strategic thinking means looking beyond the obvious. We see the clear need for the Navy, the powerful enemies he faced, the real benefits, economic, military, and you can still see the legacy in those sea forts today.
It shows how shifting focus, even centuries ago, could challenge established powers and anticipate where future threats might come from. Not just land, but the sea.
Okay, so here's a final thought for you. Thinking about Shivaji facing down those established European navies back then, what does his early grasp of sea power tell us about how crucial it is, even now, to really understand and anticipate all kinds of potential threats wherever they might come from? Something to consider.